Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Strong Talk. I'm going to be your host, Callum Shaw, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most important relationships in anything related to fitness, and that is your relationship with time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this one. It's going to be pretty fun. Alright guys, thanks for making it in past the intro. So, today we're going to be talking about time, and more importantly, your relationship with time, and how that's going to influence your ability to get the result that you want from your training. So, the issue that I think most people have is that when they start something like a fitness journey, where they're trying to lose weight or they're trying to change the way that their body looks in some way, they think that the idea is we have to drastically change everything that we're doing in a very short amount of time, which is going to then jumpstart our success and get us to the result that we want to get to as quickly as possible. The issue with that thinking is that if our timeline is very short, everything has to go right in this timeline in order to get to the result that we want to get to, and depending on the result that you're trying to get to, it may not actually be physically possible to get there in this period of time. So when we commit to a goal that is impossible to achieve in a timeline that is too short, unfortunately what that leaves us with is this feeling of defeat at the end of it, because instead of saying, oh, I want to lose 1 to 2 pounds in the next 8 weeks, we say, I need to lose 60 pounds this year. And we have a really difficult time conceptualizing what a year actually is and how long of a period of time that can be. So we end up thinking, I need to lose 60 pounds today. I'm going to commit to doing this for 1 month because it's the new year, and that's the amount of time that I can realistically ascribe to keep my efforts focused in one place. So they come, they get their gym membership on January 1st, they hang out at the gym every day, they do 2 hours of cardio work and some weights, they end up super sore and fucked up, they lose 1 to 2 pounds, which is great progress, and then they stop. Why? Because they didn't get to their 60 pounds, even though that's the first time they've lost 1 to 2 pounds in their entire adult life. So they've actually succeeded at starting the thing that they wanted to do, but they failed at getting to the goal that they want to do. So your relationship with time is going to dictate your success, because if you can ascribe an appropriate amount of time to accomplish the goal that you're trying to achieve, and then set reasonable expectations for those timelines and stick with them with consistency, you will get to the goal that you want to get to. But if your relationship with time is one where you're used to getting the things that you want in a very short period of time, and now we have a very big goal that's going to require a compounding set of efforts and build on itself over time, it's going to be very difficult for you to get what you want. So we need to make your relationship with time make more sense for the goal that you're trying to achieve. You might be thinking, but Callum, how do I make my relationship with time better? The reality is, it's difficult. It's really challenging, right? You're programmed to want to get things that are good or that feel good very quickly. Like, that's how the wiring in your brain works. Being able to delay gratification or being able to delay feeling good is one of the things that is most important for success, because it allows you to stay invested in the work that you're doing without necessarily having a reward in the short term. So the easiest way to do it is to focus on what it is that you actually need to be doing. So if you want to have a better relationship with time, and you know that the goal that you're trying to achieve realistically is going to take 2 years, then we need to make sure that you've got a focus on 2 years worth of doing the work consistently. And yes, this is going to be tiring, and yes, this is not going to be fun all the time. But if you can focus on making your priority doing the work and staying in the game for the entire 2 years, there is a very, very high likelihood that you're going to be able to get to the goal that you're trying to achieve. So, how do we change the way that we're thinking from, oh my God, I need to lose 60 pounds, to, oh my God, I need to do 5 workouts every week. If we can get you to change from I need to get to this result, and we can get you to change that thinking into I need to practice this behavior, we will be able to change the way that you relate to time. Because 5 workouts a week is a goal that is, I mean, there's time to it, right? It's every week. But it is a goal that you need to continually reinvest in, and it's a goal that you can actually influence. The difficult thing with having a goal like, I want to lose 60 pounds, is unfortunately, depending on how your week goes, you might not lose 1 or 2 pounds. This is happening right now, right? We're just coming out of the holiday season. I'm going to assume, if you're anything like me, that you probably ate more crappy food and drank more alcohol than you have in the entire year in the last week. And so, realistically, the likelihood that I made any measurable progress towards my fat loss goal over the past, call it 10 days, is really low, right? Unfortunately, that means if my measure of my success was whether my scale went down this week, you're going to have weeks where it doesn't happen. If your only measure of success is your result, it's going to be really challenging to stay in the game because it's such a black and white failure or success. What we need to do is create areas of gray, right? Where, yeah, sure, maybe we didn't lose weight this week, but I did meet all my behavior goals. I did do 5 workouts a week over the last 2 weeks. Good for me. That's terrific. Did I also maybe eat more crap food than I should have? Yes. But if we're afraid to like live our lives and eat some crap food once in a while, it's not really a sustainable way to live, right? What we're striving for here is a consistent effort in the right direction, not a perfect effort in the right direction for a short period of time, right? So all we're looking for here is 5 workouts a week. Right? And if you're doing 0 right now, if you do 2 workouts a week, you're going to make massive progress in the first 4 months. Your fitness and your finances are very similar. We know that when we invest our money, right, and you put it into something like, let's say, stocks, ideally what's going to happen over time is your money is going to make money for you, which you can then reinvest, which will help you grow the amount of money that you have, which then leads to more money being made off of the larger pile that you have in there. This is called compounding. So the theory of compounding, I would say, is very similar in fitness, where the actions that you take today are laying the foundation that the actions of tomorrow will be built on. So the idea here is that if we spend the first 6 months focused on building muscle, building our cardiovascular capacity, improving our eating habits, making sure sleep is a priority, sorting through stuff at home, right? Sorting through any like mental health stuff that we have going on, really making the time and the investment in ourselves, that work that's done up front is going to pay dividends on the back end because it makes it so much easier to then go and lose weight if you have enough muscle mass, if your eating habits are good, if you're sleeping well, if you're not stressed out all the time. It just makes the process of, okay, I'm going to flip the switch and now we're going to focus on fat loss that much easier, right? The difficulty is, if we get out of the game before the foundation is built, we're never going to have the opportunity to go and lose body fat. So it's really important that we're not focused on whatever that big number goal is at the end. If we're trying to lose weight, what we need to be focused on are the behaviors that are involved and then the consistency with which we're executing on those behaviors. So what can we actually do with this? Well, if we know that any large goal needs to be broken down into its parts in order to make it both actionable and sustainable, then what we really need to do is figure out where you're starting from and figure out where you're trying to go, right? A lot of people will assume that they are starting at 0, and then we need to go to level 1, which is let's start working out, and then we need to go to level 2, which is let's eat better, and then level 3, let's sleep better, and then level 4, let's get shredded. Now, this is great, and this makes a lot of sense. And you'll find that you'll see some people that will make really fast progress when they start to do something like a fitness goal, right? Where they're like, you know, that guy was huge, and now he's ripped, and it only took 3 months. I don't understand how he did that. I've been working for 3 months, and the only thing I've managed to lose was my wallet, right? Now, this is a very common thing, and it's a very common issue, and one that is not very well explained or well documented, is that not everybody starts at 0. There's a very good chance, and I've had this happen with a lot of my clients, where they come in and they're excited to get going, and then we get 3 months in and they haven't really lost any weight, right? But they're moving better, they're stronger, they have no pain, they're sleeping better, and they're like, how come I haven't lost any weight? I'm really frustrated. And really, the only answer that I have is we didn't start at 0, we started at -10. And there's a very good chance that you're starting at -10. If you don't eat well and you don't sleep well and you have chronic health conditions and you have chronic pain and you're very overweight, right, and you hate your job and you don't like your relationship, like there's a lot of forces that are working against you that are gonna make losing weight really challenging. And the thing is, we need to make sure that we are starting with an understanding of where you're coming from, which means that you have to really take stock of what's going on in your life and understand what are the pieces that are working against you. Because the reason, realistically, that you're in the position that you're in right now is because the coping mechanisms that you've started to use were maybe not the healthiest, but they did make you feel better for a long time, which means that when we go to try to change these things, we can't just remove the coping mechanism. Because if you go to eat pizza every time you're sad, and we say no pizza, and then you're still sad, it's going to be really challenging for you to stick with that behavior, right? So we need to focus on adding in the things that you can actually tackle and comprehend at the time, and then work on improving them over time, right? For me, when I started to do my weight loss, whatever the fuck we want to call it, I had to make sure that my focus was on, okay, this is what I can do now, and my goal is to increase the amount of stuff that I can do over time. I had an understanding of this going in because this is what I do, but this is something that most people don't grasp, right? Is that, you know, it may not be feasible for you to train 5 times a week. You might have 4 kids that are all in sports after school. Like this, it may not actually be reasonable for you to do the stuff that I'm talking about. So we need to make sure that we are applying solutions that actually make sense in the context of your life. So if you're at a -10 and you have 10 things that are actively working against you, before we can even try to add things that are working for you, we need to ideally try to get less things working against you. So this could be a really high stress job that you do but don't need to do, right? This could be your boss is a dick, right? And you've been working at the same company for 8 years and you hate it and you haven't applied for a job in 8 years. The first thing you might need to do to lose weight is apply for a new job. This is one of those things that most people do not talk about when it comes to health and fitness, is your job will impact your weight loss way more than what you eat or the amount of exercise that you do or what your program is. Get a job that you don't hate. This is really important because you spend so much of your time doing this thing that if it sucks your soul and takes all your energy, you're not going to have any energy left to be able to actually go and output in the gym to make the change that you want to make. It's not always about, I need to exercise more. Sometimes it's about, I need to do less of the stuff that I hate so that I have the mental capacity and the physical capacity to go and do the stuff that I want to do. Because I assume if you're watching this video, you want to take care of yourself. Like, there's this misconception that people that don't work out, don't care about themselves or don't want to feel good, and that's just not the case. It's just a lot of the time we get trapped in these routines that don't help us, but we honestly just don't even know how to get out because nobody has said it in a way that makes sense. So, time is also really important here because we have a finite amount of time, and it's really important that we're prioritizing things that really make our lives things that we want. It's a really terrible thing to go through life not being happy, at least some of the time. And for the most part, I think that if you are dealing with a serious body image issue, or you really, don't like the way that you feel, a lot of the time that carries over into how you feel mentally, right? And I know that, at least for me, when I'm not taking care of myself, I do not feel good. I'm way more anxious, I'm way more depressed. It's a really important thing because if you can't make the time to take care of yourself because you feel like everyone else is in control of your time, or you feel like you just don't have the energy for it, that is a really deflating feeling. So I just want you to really take stock of what's going on in your life outside of fitness, because that is the stuff that's going to really impact the success of this endeavor. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. It kind of picked up steam towards the end, and that is sort of just how I work. I typically will start a bit slow and then sort of ramp up towards the end. So if you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to me if you could hit that thumbs up button below and subscribe to the channel and share this with a friend that might need it. This is something that a lot of people do not talk about, and it really could just help a ton if we can get it into more people's eyeballs. Have an awesome rest of your day. We're going to try and do these as often as we can. I can't commit to any kind of timeline, but if you have a topic that you want covered, please send me an email, Calum, C-A-L-U-M, @strongtoronto.ca, and I will do anything that I can to make a video on the topics that are important to you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.